this is coming to you in a different way. Spotify has just launched a creator studio to be able to do some different things with videos. So I'm trying that out today. So I'm going to actually, in a minute here, try something that Spotify, or excuse me, Substack. Did I say Spotify? I meant Substack. Substack has allowed to happen, something new, and we'll try and see how that goes. Before the new, let's return to what is familiar and what is hopefully where we find light and strength and goodness and connection and companionship, by recognizing, realizing, celebrating, and affirming that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of the more and each other. All right. So, insane times, absolutely insane times, and times in which we are seeing violence by the United States in an explicit way that I don't recall in my lifetime. You know, the United States has always been a war power. We've always had wars. I remember both Iraq wars, bombing campaigns, things like that. But I don't believe, and I feel very strongly about this, that we have ever seen the president of the United States talking in language like he is using. And overnight, I guess, or this morning, he truth socials, or, as I've heard some call it, he bleats at all sorts of hours, which that in and of itself is insane. Get some sleep, dude. Come on, But things have gotten to the point where even some of his supporters are recognizing how insane he is. And I came across this morning, and I'm going to try to share the screen here now to see how this goes. So this is a website called Raw Story. There you go. And if you haven't checked this out, I recommend you check it out. It does require a little bit of a subscription. You can get it free initially, and you can do that. But you can see the heading here, and this is in response. Those words are in response to what T-Rump bleated, right? And he says this. He says, this is T-Rump's words. All right, then we'll get to this influencer. Iran's Navy is gone, their Air Force is no longer, missiles, drones, everything else being decimated, and their leaders have been wiped from the face of the earth. The U.S. possesses unparalleled firepower, unlimited ammunition, and plenty of time. Now, we know it is not unlimited ammunition because we have been hearing stories about how the interceptor missiles are running low, and so, and nothing is unlimited. Come on, really? And then this is the part that is truly, truly chilling, evil, diabolical, and, as this influencer here says, demonic. Here is what T-Rump said. Now I, as the 47th president of the United States, am killing them, the Iranians. What a great honor it is to do so. Just let that sink in for a minute, y'all. What a great honor it is to kill people. I mean, if that's not evil, if that's not sick and demented, illegal, against the rule of law, against everything, decency, I don't know what is. And it's catching the eyes of some of his supporters. This is somebody, the Patriot Voice, a self-described America First icon, who is followed by numerous top MAGA voices. He responded, Trump now sounds like a full-blown war-mongering, all-caps psychopath. Totally the opposite of the man I thought I voted for. Yeah, sure. That's my comment there, of course. And then this is back to that America First guy, Patriot Voice. It is like he has been demonically possessed. All right. Now, is T-Rump diabolical, and is that demonic what he is doing? Yes, absolutely. Now, I take issue with the man I thought I voted for. This is the man they voted for. I mean, this has always been there. He is just letting his freak flag fly because he has no accountability. And this is what happens when someone has no accountability and believes they can do whatever they want. And let's be honest, y'all, so far, Trump has been able to do whatever he has wanted because Congress has been silent, because the The Supreme Court has given him immunity and allowed him to do these things. So let's make no mistake about that. So that's what we're dealing with here, y'all. We're in Lent, halfway about, and I'm wearing this today. I don't know if you can really see it in the colors, but it's my pink shirt that I pulled from the closet because today is Laerte Sunday, fourth Sunday of Lent. It is the pink Sunday, the rose-colored Sunday, in which we celebrate a little break in Lent to recognize that God is with us. You know, even as we do some spring cleaning of our soul, so to speak, even as we surrender, we pray, fast, and give, God is with us. And the readings today reflect that. The gospel, which I'm not going to go into, highly recommend you take a look at it. It's the man born blind in John's gospel. It is so great. And it is a comedy. It has some comedic elements, and highly recommend you check it out because it's such an indictment of religious leaders, right? Of all kinds, who can't believe when something is happening outside of their narrowly defined legalistic religious tenets, right? Their creeds and their orthodoxy. I want to focus though on Ephesians, and this is the reading from the First Nations version. Again, I've been reading from the Psalms, and we will get to today's Psalm at Psalm 74 today. It's a long psalm, so I'm not going to read the whole psalm, but here is what St. Paul says. It's a short little passage, and he says this: as weak human beings, you were once empty and full of darkness. This is Ephesians 5, starting on verse 8. As weak human beings, you were once empty and full of darkness, but now that Creator's Spirit lives in you, you are beings full of light. Walk in the light, and all things good and right and true will shine out from you. This will prove you are his children, the ones who seek for ways to make his heart glad. Turn away from the path of darkness with its worthless ways. Instead, let your light shine into darkness to show the way out. The shameful things done under the blanket of night should not even be spoken of, for the light shines in the darkness and takes away the mask of its empty ways. It is like the sunrise that pushes back the night and brings the light of a new day. This is why it is said, "Oh, wake up, O sleeper, come back from the dead, and the chosen one will shine on you." Yeah, some really powerful lines. And again, y'all, we are children of the light, and there is tremendous darkness. But as we hear also in John's gospel, the light of the world has come, and the darkness cannot drive it away. And if that is true, and I am staking my life, y'all, that is true on that fact, then this will pass. This will end. It may not end soon. It may not end in a pretty way. There may be a lot more tragedy and sadly lives lost before it ends. The question, though, is what happens next? I want to jump over to the Psalms because this is one of the Psalms, Psalm 74. Again, we hear a similar theme, crying out to God, why, are these things happening, and lead us, and what God will do, God's power. And I want to start with this. So they're talking about the evil people, right? And the first few verses of this is talking about those evil people and what they have done. So we'll pick up in verse 8 and go a little bit further than that. They said to themselves, "Let us crush them completely and break their spirit." So they burned down all the gathering places in the land. There are no signs to guide us, no prophet to speak for the Great Spirit, and no one among us knows how long this will last. Creator, how much longer will our enemies taunt us? Why do they never stop dragging your name through the dirt? And they cry out with this, and they're talking about God's power. And they say a little bit further down, your power separated the ancient deep waters. You shattered the heads of the ancient serpent of the sea. It was you who crushed the heads of twisting sea serpent Leviathan and fed him to the wild animals of the desert wilderness. And they go on and talk about, God's great power over the natural world. So two things before we wrap up. Again, that verse number 9, who are the prophets to speak? How long must we endure this? Those are exactly, I think, what we're all feeling today. And the answer is who the prophets are is they're you and me, y'all. I mean, we need our leaders, especially our pathetic Democratic leadership. We need them to be more of a voice. We need them to be more active. We need them to be braver and bolder. But they're corrupt in ways that are not too dissimilar from the ways that the MAGAites and the GOP are corrupt. So we need to be those prophets. And quite honestly, y'all, I hope I can be that prophet. I hope I am that prophet, at least in the ways that I can be. Going on to that next verse, and again, this is an image that we'll go out with here, and hopefully a very hopeful image. This idea of Leviathan, the twisting sea serpent, right? The heads, talking about the 2 heads of it. It's amazing. That's in there because that is the greatest beast that the psalmist could conceive of, right? That is the most powerful earthly, creaturely beast. And what does God do? Well, God created it, but God also can destroy it, right? And again, it is showing God's power over all things creaturely and created, right? And all of these political people, all of these structures, T-Rump, and all of this diabolical garbage is under God, and God will destroy it. It will be destroyed. And it is already being destroyed. It is corrupted and it is crumbling, and T-Rump is losing his mind, whatever's left of it, and it is falling and breaking. So again, y'all, do we have the hope to continue to hold fast and endure? Do we have the courage to get out into the streets less than 2 weeks from now? Do we have the wherewithal and the courage to call our representatives, our senators, our 2 Ohio senators? I'm giving them a call tomorrow to remind them of this insanity and that they must do something. And y'all, more than anything else, do we have the confidence that God is light, God is love, and that God is always on the side of the poor and the brokenhearted, and God is never on the side of those who are throwing bombs and missiles and gloating and celebrating death and destruction. All right, y'all, let's see what happens when I try to post this. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. I hope I don't lose all this, but blessing and good, y'all. Be bold, be well, hold fast, y'all.